So today I wanted to actually share with you one of my favorite books of all time, which happens to be the worst book of all time. This book is so bad, it is like The Room. The Room. It's so bad that it's a cult classic. The level of how bad that movie is inspired fans, not haters, okay? Not people who hate, because there's nothing to hate. Everything is terrible. And so essentially, everyone has come together to fall in love with it. But a lot of villains can smooch off because guess what? Homies have given it 5 stars. I have given it 5 stars. This book is the definition, or it is what a bad book looks like. Okay, effing brilliant, funny, fantasy. Klaus gave it why, dude? Raising the slab among its bronze hinges. Why, dude? When was this? 2021 March. Well, I mean, I have no idea why he gave it this. I actually, this guy is as the contradictorian. I really love his YouTube channel. He's a guy of humor. He's a man of humor. I didn't know he was a man of. I didn't know he was uncivilized. Oh my God, how dare you? Anyway, 5 stars for the same reason why Immortal got 5 stars. That is creating something so incredibly horrific is a talent in itself, okay? If you can see in here a tiny bit of history, this is not a hoax. Jim was a real person who wrote The Eye of Argon in all seriousness as a teenager and published it in a fan-size Osfin in 1970. But the story did not pass into the oblivion that awaits most amateur fiction. Instead, a miracle happened, and transcribed and photocopied texts began to circulate in science fiction circles, gaining a wide and incredulous audience among both professionals and fans. It became the ultimate samizdat, an underground classic. And for more than 30 years, it has been the subject of midnight readings at conventions, for laughs, of course, for giggles, as thousands have come to appreciate the negative genius of this awesome Ed Wood of prose. It just has to be acknowledged. This book is, first of all, it's tiny. It's literally like 1 hour of reading. But at the same time, it is a cult classic. It is the definition of what not to do. Like how to not write a book. The Eye of Argon is how to not write a book. The prose is overdone. As you can see, like for example, the weather-beaten trail wound ahead into the dust-racked climbs. If it's weather-beaten, it is dust-racked, my nigga. Use one of these. You can't use both because it slows down the pacing and it makes the story just, essentially he's packing purple prose, okay? Jim is packing a lot of purple prose. Of the barren land, okay, if it's weather beaten, I can guess it's barren. It goes on to say which dominate large portions of the Norgolian Empire, age-worn hoof prints smothered by the sifting sands of time shone dully against the dust-splattered crust of earth. I mean, at this point, it's a word salad. It's a word salad of how many words and adjectives could I pack and jam and cram and stuff and just choke into this one sentence. Number two, it's always the same sentence structure. This is one large sentence, this is another large sentence, this is another large sentence with this I skipped English class. Small rodents scampered about, occupying themselves. Finally, it's the same repeated sentence structure for this and also for this. Okay, but this itself is very familiar to this, and so there is no length in sentences, length variation. There is no flow. Different most sentences start out the same, and it is very cringy, and it has a lot of overblown, like it's overfed with adjectives. Of course, we now understand the weather. It's really weather beaten. Okay, someone says, prepare to embrace your creators in the Stygian haunts of hell. barbarian, gasped the first soldier. Only after you have kissed the fleeting steed of death, wretch, returned Grigna. And so, Grigna is the barbarian protagonist. So, it is how to not write a prose, okay? Number two, it's how to not write a story, because the problem is not just the prose. The problem itself is the story. The character of Grigna is flat. He's a Mary Sue. He's hot, handsome. He gets all the women. He gets to beat everybody. This was written by a teenager. You have to understand, okay? This was written by a teenager. Of course, a 15-year-old is not going to write good prose. They're not going even to have a comprehension of what the heck makes a good sentence structure, or what communicating information concisely even means. Moving forth from that point, the story is actually structurally flawed. Okay, it is structurally flawed, and it never really goes anywhere. It meanders around, and it the plot, everything about it is essentially awful. So looking at this story, you might have your eyes bleed. Okay, blood might literally come trickling out of your eyes, but if you look at it for the masterpiece that it is, you're going to come out having laughed your ass off. Okay, so this is a cult classic of the fantasy genre. It's 36 pages. Please read it. I do recommend it. I recommend this more than The Lord of the Rings, especially if you're a writer. This is how to not write a book 101. This is going to be your first assignment. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it wasn't very long or very repetitive. Have a nice day. Bye.